Welcome to the Priggya Arora Show, where we discuss law, innovation, and entrepreneurship with people who have been there and done that. My name is Priggya Arora, founder of PA Legal, an intellectual property law firm in India. And today we have a special guest. He's not an attorney. He is the CEO and founder of BoardActive. He is also an investor and an inventor himself. So we welcome Doug Pittman on the show. Welcome, Doug. How are you doing?
Hey, how are you? Thank you for the invite, and I'm very excited to help you and to help the inventors out there in the world and IP world, and just to make it very simple. I want to be able to help with the questions, and there are a lot of questions in this IP world now, as you know.
Yes.
And I thank you for asking me to be on. It's an honor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doug. So our audience have listened a lot from the inventors, from the lawyers, from the legal industry, but I wanted them to get acquainted with what investors and inventors think about the IP system. That's why I welcomed you on the show, and we'll start with your life story and how did you become the person you are today?
Yeah, I'm the son of a pig farmer. Yeah, I was. My dad was. We had like 1,000 head of pig as we were growing up. He was a farmer, so I'm the son of a pig farmer. And so, when you're a farmer's son, you watch your dad as you grow up, and he come from a very creative family. Matter of fact, my grandfather would take these, what they call lightning rods, and he would walk around, which I'll never forget it. We were building a home and we had no water, and my grandfather would walk around with what they call lightning rods to find water. And he was walking around, and all of a sudden that stick, which was just a forked stick, went straight down to the ground. And he's like, okay, here's your water. And my dad said, there is no way there is water underneath there. My grandfather said, dig the hole, there's water. He had like 8 brothers, and they all dug a well, and about 4 feet down was just a massive amount of water that he hit. And my grandfather, I'll never forget it, told him, said, yeah, I told you. And so they had a lot of fun with that. But that's one of the creative things. My dad, a farmer, and my dad, you don't have a lot of money and you don't have a lot of time to do things. So you have to be innovative. You have to think about how to get things done on the farm at any second. I mean, you just got to be creative. And that's where the creative mind come from. And I think that's where I got my creative mindset from. Was from my family. But the story is that I basically my dad would do farming, and I would actually help him with some innovations. And like one of the innovations was the fact that I had a brother, and my brother and I were working on the farm, and we were young. I'm talking like maybe 4 and 6. Well, you've got these buckets that you had to take that had handles on them. Well, a 4 or 6-year-old cannot take a 25, 35-pound bucket and just tote it. So he figured out a way real quick so that we both could tote those buckets. And so he got a stick, put a J hook on it, put some screws in it, and fixed it so that we both could grab that bucket that had the whatever in it and tote it together. So those are the types of things that were, made it creative. And I learned from that. And, it helped me as far as growing up in school. I played football, baseball, did some schooling. But the biggest thing that I ever did education-wise was do things myself. I said the best education is doing things yourself, and so I would do things and learn things on my own as I was growing up, all kind of creative little things that I could get into, but I don't want to waste much time on that background. But the story is how I became an inventor. And I had a couple of companies before this. I was in office, had an office stores where I sold the computer equipment and things like that. As the computers were coming out, you used to only could rent computers, and then they did what you call built to spec. So I started building computers, and it all progressed up from that. I used to sell hard drives, floppies, RAMs, and those types of things. And so it was, I had to be creative when I did my stores also in order to build my business. Well, I had 3 of them, and I did really well with those 3 retail stores. And I actually had a guy come out of Atlanta, and he had watched our stores for several months, and he come in one day and said he wanted to buy them. And I said, well, they're not for sale. He said, well, everything's for sale. And he made me an offer that I couldn't refuse. So guess what? I sold 3 computer retail stores. Now I had expected, I was going to expand that to make it so that I could grow it into a franchise business with hundreds of stores. But he paid me so much money, I said, okay, I'm okay. So I rested a little while. I like backcountry hiking.
Yeah.
I hiked the Appalachian Trail. I love backcountry hiking. I've hiked 17 days with a backpack.
Wow.
Yeah, and so you have to put your food. I've gone down rivers, got out, hiked on mountaintops, 15,000 feet mountaintops out in the West. So I'm an adventurer also. So that's part of the inventive process, is your mind is always being creative and thinking and exploring. You're an explorer when you are a inventor. And so you've got to have that ability to take thoughts and put them together and make it a solid idea.
Wow.
So, but moving on from that, I was taking I actually did another company. I was a inventory control and data management supply chain in the U.S. And I actually built that company up, and actually did a big Fortune 50 companies warehouses, set that up, and actually did 1 in the beginning and ended up doing 14. They come out, and a guy out of Minnesota, a company out of Minnesota, come and bought those because they wanted that account, and so I sold that. So that was another creative mindset how to do things. So this one was, I was taking my son to Samford University in Birmingham, Alabama, which is about 200 miles away from Atlanta, Georgia, and we were going to Samford, and which is a really, really nice college for smart people. They over here, it's the kind of the Ivy League school of the South, we call it. I couldn't even cross the T's and dot the I's to get into that school, but my son could. But he's very, very intelligent. But we were going down the interstate highway, and I saw a beautiful billboard, a beautiful creative. But as we were going by that, I didn't know what it said. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know who they were. I didn't know what they were trying to get through to me, but it was one heck of a beautiful creative. And I looked at my son and said, what did that say? He's like, I don't know. The mind started thinking. Now you got to think, I'm pretty sad, I'm okay. I enjoyed backpacking. I'm doing all of these things.
Yeah.
But my creative mind started thinking, oh my goodness, how can you connect? I wasn't going to go up to the next intersection of that road and turn around and come back and look at that billboard or that creative.
Yeah.
I said, how can you connect a brand to a consumer?
Wow.
Can you just by looking at something that is not, there's no way that you can, we all do it. We've seen it. We think about it for about 5 seconds, but then when you go down the interstate, boom, there's another billboard or there's another creative. So you really don't think about that as you're around those types of businesses. So I said, you know what? There's got to be a way to bring that creative and that brand back to me as a consumer. Now I'm coming in as a consumer. I'm thinking, how could that happen? Now, me being in marketing and me being in technology, because I was a former Microsoft certified CNE, which was back in the late 90s. That doesn't even exist anymore, I don't think. But I was certified CNE engineer. I was proud. I could program and do things. I couldn't do it now as far as CNE type stuff, but that was old, really, really old stuff, and I forgot even how to do it. But so what I learned was the fact that I had to do a marketing study, and I said, what's the viability? How could this even hit the marketplace? What's the value? So the first thing you have to do is see, number one, if it's a market fit. Yeah. So I did some marketing research on my own. I spent money to do testing, and I did a lot of work on my own. I kept it quiet. I kept it very quiet. I didn't tell hardly anybody what was going on. I don't even think I told my family. I mean, that's just one thing that, you've got something when you're an inventor, you've got to think ahead, way ahead. Yes. So I never really, I would get my son to do things, some of the crazy things, like, well, as you're riding down the road, give me the lat long of that particular billboard. So I knew it was going to be something to do with distance, but I didn't really know what. So I did the marketing study. I saw the viability of it. I saw that there was a massive amount of opportunity there, because I did research. I looked all over the internet. I looked everywhere. I actually got people involved in New York, up at the New York Stock Exchange. I knew some people up there, a couple of big brand houses, money houses. And so we just kind of generically, I did some searches and things, and there was nothing. There was nothing, absolutely nothing out there that could connect a brand to a consumer in any way, form, or fashion. So then you have to flip that. You say, okay, wow, this could be really, really huge. So I did my marketing. I saw that the value was there. I did all kind of research, and so I put the value of it in the billions of dollars opportunity. That's as far. I mean, it's just the sky's the limit. I said back now. This was in 2012. So in 2012, the technology back then was kind of weak. You you had a website, and then you had apps. Yes. And there was things like plugins and stuff like that. Yeah. And all an app was back then, if you remember, all an app was a mirror of a website. That's it. It mirrored a website, and so whatever a website was, someone would develop an app so that some a consumer could see that website, and that was it. Yeah. And so, but I knew there were plugins. They had these things called plugins, which were just extensions of the website. So I knew that something like that was going to happen, and something like that, we could, we would have to, in order to connect, how do you put a visual down to one of these? It's invisible. How's it going to happen? So I started studying the technology. I knew that apps were going to be big, and I knew that the technology was only going to get better. And so what you have to do is think ahead. Yes, I did. I thought, how are things going to be in the future? You've got to be a visionary if you're going to be an inventor, because you can't just invent on what's current. You've got to be able to be the one that directs it. This whole world was created by inventors. Yes. So you really have to have some creative mindset behind putting a mobile device with something that you can see. Yes. And that's the way we did it. I started thinking on how that would work. And as I was doing that in 2013, after a year and a half of study, I knew that geolocation was going to be a part of it. And I knew that things were going to pull together, API, SDKs, all of that came together in my mindset. And so I started creating what I call a masterpiece in order how can a mobile device connect to a visual or creative. So I've created that.
Wow.
And so, the thing that I can say is, as I was doing that, I said, you know what, there's nothing out there. I did a lot of searches, tremendous amount of searches when I started my patent talk. I actually went to I was in Atlanta Tech Village in Atlanta. I was working on my own, one person. That's it. It's an incubator, and I would recommend anyone go to an incubator type solution. Now, this was not government fed or government led. This was an individual that was a former. He had a business. He sold his business. He made a lot of money. He was a small business owner. He didn't have an invention or anything, but he built a business, a software business. He sold it for hundreds of millions of dollars, and he put it back into the community, and he allowed small and companies to incubate at that location at Atlanta Tech Village, and I was a part of that. And what happens is you're around a lot of people. You get around money, you get around investors, you get around in a lot of technical people and such. And so what happens is as your mind develops all these things, I wanted to patent. I actually met my patent lawyer was at Atlanta Tech Village. And an inventor really doesn't know what he's doing when you get into patent. So we started conversations. I said, I've got this I think it's a great idea. And I was enthusiastic and there's just tremendous opportunity, I thought. I've done research on it, but then it gets into the legal part of it.
Yeah.
Then you hit some brick walls when you're an inventor. What happened back then was, now my IP attorney did not tell me this, and a lot of IP attorneys, and it wasn't his fault. It was the AIA was new and things like that was new in the U.S. So, all these 101 issues and things like that that's happening now was not an issue back then. But, we did go over a lot of searches. We did some in-depth searches on our invention, our technology, our possibilities. Was there any prior art? We looked. I paid tons of money for that. Even had a former patent examiner who was a lawyer go and do the work. So it's not inexpensive to do, but that is one of your biggest challenges that you have to do when you're doing an invention. Is you have to have deep dive searches, not just one. And you cannot do it your own. You do not do it on your own. You will lose if you do it on your own in today's environment. Maybe 20 years ago, you could have done it years ago. And you've got these snake oil salesmen out there that are pitching it that, you can do it. You can do it on your own. You cannot do this on your own. There is no way. You've got to have professional help in order to get past this. Even if you think you're smart enough to do it, you can't. You are going to spend a lot of money. You're going to spend tons of money, and you cannot have that money wasted because you did not do quality patent searches. That is number one priority. So get you a team that does the patent searches. That's humongous as an inventor. The next thing that we talked about was, once we got past the fact that yes, you do have a possibility of doing the invention, the next thing is you got to pay the lawyer.
Yeah.
You've got to pay the lawyer in order to wireframe those patents. He's got to be able, and he's got to be really good, because a patent attorney is writing a book. All a patent is words with description and pictures. That's it. You got to have a patent attorney what you call patent prosecutor. The patent prosecutor has got to be in that field that you are patenting. You do not go get a pharma lawyer to do a technology patent. It ain't going to work. You're going to lose. I don't care what. If a patent attorney says I can do that, and he's a pharma and trying to do technology, that's a sign. Walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah, do not use secondary folks that says, "Oh, we can do the patents without a patent attorney. It's we can do just as good as they can." No, you can't. In today's environment, it's only because of in today's environment. Yeah, maybe 20 years ago it would have worked. You cannot even take a chance now, because once you get these patents written, and my patents took a year and a half. Took 1 year and a half to write our patents. I have 11 patents that are in the system now in the USPTO. Of those 11 patents, we've got like 8 more that are pending. We have these things. We have them worldwide with worldwide coverage.
Correct.
Countries. Yeah, and you are not going to be able to go in every country. You don't want to go in every. It's very, very, very expensive. It's not just expensive to get these patents into these countries to begin with. It's the maintenance fees, the continuations, and all the things that you have to do in order to continue the filings and things like that. What I've done is I went to the PCT.
Yeah.
So we are a part of the PCT. Now the PCT is it doesn't do anything really for you, but it gives you the ability to go into these all countries and kind of assert your coverages. Yeah. So it's a lead in more than anything else. So with that said, the patent attorney, that's critical. If you do not have a good patent attorney that is focused on what you do, then you are not going to, you're not going to win. You're just not going to win. It's not like it was 20 years ago. I keep saying that it is pure. I'll just say this: it's pure hell. Okay. You are going to if you don't have the patience and the willpower to be able to withstand all the things that are going to happen to you as an inventor. You shouldn't invent it. You really, what happens is with these patents, you do the patent prosecution, you get it into the system, you do patent examinations. Our patents went through a search, and our patent examiner was one of the toughest examiners at the USPTO. And that was a good thing. We thought, oh, no, you as an inventor in the early stages, think, oh no, this is going to be hard. Well, it's good, because if you've got experience, someone that knows that technology, someone that knows that industry. For example, our patent examiner was a 30-year veteran. Turned down 24 out of 25 patents that came in front of her. The rejections were, she just flat. If it wasn't if it wasn't patentable, valid, if it wasn't novel, inventive, she would throw it out. And your attorney, your patent prosecuting attorney, has to have a good relationship with that examiner. Yeah. That is critical. He's got to be a negotiator, and he's got to be able to work really, really well with the other side, because the USPTO naturally they want you to become an inventor, but they're not just going to give it to you. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you go through all these processes, and then after so much time, it can take 2 to 3 years before you get your patent. You put on there that you are a patent pending. Well, the marketplace don't give a rip about you being patent pending. So you have to, somehow you have to hold back on even getting it out there. What I wanted to do was, not only was I doing patents, I was building a product.
Correct.
I was paralleling our product. BoardActive was building, in addition to our patents, I was building a product that paralleled our patents, because I said, our revenue model needed to be product based. And so if we had a product backed by patents, that makes our brand, BoardActive, just makes it massive. Yeah. And so what you have to do is you have to have investors. And that's another story when it comes to patents. In today's environment, it's very difficult to get investors to back companies with patents because of the current climate. They're very leery. What I've always said was, and what I was told is by my first investor. My first investor told me, says, Doug, I don't bet on, he says, I bet on the jockey, not the horse.
Yeah.
So what that means is it's me.
Yeah.
It's all up to me in order for them to invest.
Correct. Absolutely.
Your people will not invest in your product. They will invest in you.
Yeah.
I've always said, you solve the problem, don't sell the product. And
Absolutely.
so, right. So what we're doing is we are building a product that solves a problem. We patented a product that solves a problem. If you're not solving a problem in your marketplace, then you don't have a solution.
Absolutely.
Right. So your investors bet on you. They don't bet on the patents. They don't bet on the product. They bet on you to make the patents and the products work.
Correct.
I have 44 shareholders currently. I have 30, I believe it's 38 investors.
Wow.
I'm an investor, and in today's environment, some of the things that I look for are, do you have a product? And that's one of the key components. Now I'm going to stop a minute and let you ask me some questions, because I know I've been going.
Yeah, Doug. So I'll ask you, like from your story, you beautifully explained how you connect, how the dots are connected and how you become the person you are today. And very correctly said, especially the things about the patent searches. Sometimes, as compared to the whole patent process, patent searches are happens in a very initial stage, and they do not cost as much as as patent drafting does or a patent prosecution does. So sometimes inventors will come and they'll say, we can skip this step, it's not important, I am very clear that our technology is new and you don't need to do the search, you directly do the drafting. And we explain to them why that is important, because based on that only we'll be able to draft the patent. Otherwise it might happen that we draft a patent and that patent is of no use. So do you feel that these kind of inhibitions are there in the market, and whether what should we do in order to put it straight in front of everybody that yes, patent searches are important and then we should go to the next steps?
If I was a patent attorney and you had an inventor that come and says he exactly what they said, that we don't really want to do that, let's skip that step, I would say, I'm sorry, I can't do the work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because as a patent examiner or as a patent attorney, the one thing that I think every patent attorney should have in their behind their desk warning: your patents will be invalidated.
Yeah.
If that is a priority. No inventor should even want to, number one, do it without a search. That's the first, and I've mentioned that. That's the absolute first thing that if you're going for a patent, you got to do. I mean, it's like you don't get up in the morning and skip breakfast, or just skip the whole day. You've got to be able to. You've got to be able to. That's the step one. And if patent attorneys have a requirement in my mind to be very upfront, very clear, and especially in today's environment, with what is going to happen to them. They've got to say, this is what's going to happen to you. This is the process. And
Yeah.
if we don't do this and this and this and this, you're going to spend money that you don't have. Number one, we know you don't have it. Number two, you're going to waste it and it's going to be thrown away. Why?
Wow.
Why not? Why even try that? You would not jump off a cliff without a parachute. That's what you're going to do if you go into a IP attorney and say skip the searches. You might as well jump off a cliff without a parachute. You're done.
Wow. Beautifully explained this stuff. We don't skip breakfast and eat rest of the meals. We do the breakfast and then also we eat rest of the meals. So Doug, see, you have been at a position where you own so many IPs. You are an IP owner. You are also an investor. So as you just mentioned that while investing, investors generally invest in people or the entrepreneur, not in whatever patents or technology they are developing, because the entrepreneur has to be a problem solver. So you as an entrepreneur or an innovator, what do you think is the importance of patents, and why should inventors move towards patenting their technology and then getting investments?
Yeah, you number one, you got to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Got to believe in yourself. The thing about inventors are they're very excited. It's very exciting to invent something or think you've invented something, and you just got all types of exuberance. I mean, you're just just ecstatic with the ability to, well, gosh, I can really make a lot of money and I can really do a lot of things, and that's great. That is absolutely great. But once you get past that, it's kind of like winning a championship in sports. You won one round. Okay, that's your first round. Now you've got to go to the second round and the third round and the fourth round. You've got to be able to win each round in order to win at the end. It's just like a sports game. You've got to win each quarter, or you've got to win each half in order to get to the end and win. It is a long process, and investors look for inventors or people per se. It doesn't have to be just patents. It could be anything. Inventors basically invest in you, and they believe in you as the CEO and founder of a company. They don't like I said, they don't. A good investor doesn't bet on the product; they bet on the people. And that's what that's my biggest thing is, have all your ducks in a row. Don't be long-winded. Be short and sweet. The easiest thing, know how to explain it. That's one of the biggest problems that I've found with inventors is, and I'll ask an inventor, give me your pitch. Oh my God, they come out with 10 and 20 page PowerPoint presentations and stuff like that. You're never make it past round one, because an investor wants to know, give me the net. Give me the net. One pager. That's it. You cannot people think even a 4 or 5 pager is maybe too much for an initial investment. You got to have what they call an elevator pitch. So you've got to have all your ducks in a row before you ever start talking to anyone, because if you don't have your ducks in a row and you can't present yourself, you can't present your problem you're solving. They see thousands of people a year. You're not going to make an impact. You're not going to make an impact.
So Doug, I always say to this, like you said, it has to be one page. So it is a one-page advertisement of your whole business. So see, looking at it, who wants to come and join you? So if looking at an advertisement, I am convinced that I want to buy this product, probably I should be investing in that.
Yeah, less is more.
Yeah, absolutely. So Doug, we discussed about your journey. We discussed the problems you faced regarding money, the challenges, expensive process, then why the process is important, because it helps in business, so we have to go through that process. What are some of the challenges that you faced, because of which you think there are some changes which are necessary in the IP field in order to help inventors? So can you suggest any changes, what you would foresee in times to come?
You know, in order to know the value of your patent, nobody can value that.
Correct.
There, you know, it's like pulling a slot machine at the Vegas slot machines. You really don't know your valuation. Every patent out there, and get this, every patent out there is going to have to go through the legal process in order to be asserted into the marketplace and to get a true value.
Correct.
I've always said a patent is only as good as its first lawsuit.
Yeah. Wow.
Patent is only as good as its first lawsuit, because there is no way on this earth that you can tell, okay, this patent is worth this amount or this amount. You know, in my mind, my patent is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, but I have to show that it's worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
Absolutely.
You're going to have to assert your patents against what you call infringers. Infringers are people that have got your idea,
Yeah.
they found out about it somehow, and now they're copying it and putting it out to the marketplace.
Correct.
What I did was I had a really cool strategy. I knew years ago that this technology, you know, was going to, you know, it's going to do some things. You know, your technology is very powerful, and so there's certain aspects of it, certain areas which it doesn't cover your patent, but it covers the marketplace per se. So what I did, you know, you let them market things. You know, you let people market things, and you know, because you've got your product out there and people are looking at it. I had a big Fortune 10 company that looked at my product once we come out of the patent area and we filed our patents, and you can start doing things marketing wise. Once you file your patents and such, you can do things. So big companies, you know, you start trying to sell your product and get it out to the marketplace and things like that. Well, I actually had a couple of big Fortune 10 companies that actually did a demo with me, and they were taking notes. And the next thing we knew, 18 months later, guess what? They were coming out with our product.
Yes.
People will steal your invention, folks, in a minute.
Yeah.
And that's when you have to assert your patents. That's when you find out how valuable your patents are. You know, what do they say? You know, someone copying your invention makes it validated.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's a lot of people that do want to copy a good. When you've got a good solution, they want to copy it. So we've actually got our first case in the system here in the United States, and now we're about to find out what our value of our patents are.
Yeah.
So I can't discuss the case naturally, but I can say that we are excited. We feel like that it's a win. But the thing about it is, you know, what we did was, once we had these patents, we made a huge mistake, folks. We made a huge mistake in the marketplace. And that mistake was, I had legal team send out letters thinking that those letters would get some action. We were trying to get license agreements. And those license agreements we thought would be a source of revenue. We made a horrible mistake by sending those letters out to the marketplace. Number one, the letter should not have gone out on an attorney's letterhead. They should have gone out on our BoardActive's company letterhead. scared the marketplace to death.
Mm.
They froze so that when we sent our people into those offices, we can't talk to you. You sent legal representation. We literally got blacklisted in our industry because we sent legal letters. So that was probably one of the biggest mistakes that we made. Now, some people do want to have conversations, and they don't understand that was not any way, form, or fashion a threatening letter. There was nothing in the letter that says about litigation or anything like that. We just were saying, hey, we got these patents, and we would like for you to license our product. So we did make that big mistake. I would do not send out letters to your marketplace, especially from a legal side. I got bad legal advice on that, and that's just the way it works. So you have to recover from that.
Yes.
But we are recovering from that. That was I mean, that's just an honest mistake that was made. It's a big mistake. So that's one thing I can tell your patent people: do not do that. So what happens is you work from that, but you do have people that are infringing on your product. They pick up on one company talks about it. It doesn't take but one company getting in front of on a panel discussing what's out there in the marketplace. Even though they do it generically, they're talking about your product. I can't tell you how many times I had heard that when you're sitting in a conference room and you've got these experts that are sitting up on a panel talking about your invention without saying your name.
Yeah.
And you're back there going, this is going to be really interesting. So what I did was I said, you know what? I told my investors, I said, no worries. We're gonna be okay on this because we're gonna let them market our technology. We're gonna let them market our technology. They've stolen it from our demos and things like that, and our talks and our conversation, our salespeople and such like that. And so we strategy was, now let's just let them spend our marketing dollars and spread the word. They know we have the patents on the that are out there, and so and that's where we are now with BoardActive, is the fact that people have stolen our technology, and we're actually, you got to assert it. So
yeah,
the biggest thing is, okay, how are we going to assert it? I'm an inventor. I don't have the money for lawyers. Litigation lawyers are very expensive. They run anywhere from $450 per hour up to $1,000 an hour. That's true fact. And the meter runs every time you do an email. It does not matter. They're billing. So what you have to do is, this is getting very interesting. So if you want to stop me and ask me anything else, but I want to tell an inventor how this actually works down the road. You've got to get a great litigation firm. You can't just get any litigation firm. You have to get a litigation firm, number one, believes in you. They're an investor in you. They are investing in your invention. They got to believe in your patents. They are outside of your patent prosecutor. Those patent prosecutors are their best friends. They're going to become best friends, but that patent prosecutor cannot get involved in these cases. They have to be outside of these cases. So you've got to get a great litigation legal firm. Well, how do you do that? You don't have $1,000 an hour, $1 million in your back pocket. Then you have to go out and find litigation funding. Litigation funding is the biggest challenge an inventor has. It is massive work. It takes years to find it. It takes years to find a litigation funder that wants to back your patents. So you have to have, as an inventor, you have to have a legal team backing you first. once you have that legal team, a legal team may have a litigation funder set up that can't do it, but they may not. You cannot depend on that. I'm saying now in today's environment, it used to be litigation, and I just got back from a conference, and it changed my mindset on this. A legal firm does have litigation funders. These are people that actually have millions and millions of dollars to back litigation funding. They believe, they're investors. They believe that and expect a return on their investment. They expect a win. And the thing that they look at is who is the firm? You know, is the firm a good firm? Are they known? Have they won cases? Have they fought in front of the Supreme Court? Those are the types of firms that, as a technology guy, that I have run into. A litigation funding. I was in a conference a couple of weeks ago with 250 people. I was the only inventor invited. And now that's because our patents are so well written, they're known, they're solid, they've been vetted. The industry knows we're really, really good. You know, they know my story's good, and that's the thing about it. You've got to have a good story with your patent. So if an inventor does not have a good story, how did your invention come about? Remember, mine was as I was going by those billboards and I saw it, a beautiful creation. I didn't know what it said. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know where they were. I didn't know anything about it. You've got to have a good story. You've got to have a good short story for these litigation funders. But again, I was at a conference. There were 250 people in that conference. There was an estimate given to me that there was over $400 million sitting in that room of 250 people. Actually, it was 249 because I sure didn't have nowhere near that to even be counted. Mine was pennies on the dollar. But there was $400 billion sitting in that room waiting on to fund deals in the IP world. Now, what I did find out in that IP litigation group, being the only inventor in that group, I naturally wanted them to know that there was an inventor in that room. And I within 15 minutes of knowing that there were $400 billion sitting in that room, I'm taking a mic, I'm talking. I'm letting them know without pushing myself on them that I'm an inventor, and here I am. You have to get out there and let people know what you have, but it's got to be short and sweet. It's got to be a short and sweet one pager, not 20 pages. If you don't have a one pager explaining it, you're never going to get to a litigation funder. So the question is, how do I get to a litigation funder? Okay.
Yeah.
You got to have a great patent prosecuting attorney to write really, really good patent documents. Again, patents are only words and descriptions. That's it. A patent is the easiest. Let me get this right. A patent is the easiest. A patent, I'm going to say it again. A patent is the easiest thing to get when it comes to intellectual property.
Yeah.
In the process is when things really, really get tough.
Yeah.
You're going to go into a lawsuit if you're going to make the money. You say, no way, I'm going to get it out the market. That's pie in the sky. I don't think I've met one inventor in the last 3 years that has been able to write a license agreement. Now, there's some small inventions that get in the marketplace that the big brands they'll see. I don't want to discourage people from doing this. There are some things that slip through, and they do get agreements. But it's very, very, very rare nowadays. It's very rare because these big companies, they and small companies too now. I've always said that the one thing I can say is that as an inventor, and you got to remember this, guys and girls, ladies, people. Big companies have all the money they have all the assets, they have all the people, they have all the reachabilities and marketing and everything that they need in order to maintain their whatever their marketing. But what they do not have is the innovation ability.
Yeah.
They do not have an inventor's mindset. So what do these big companies do? They steal your idea, bring it into their house, and work on your invention. And
Absolutely.
And that's the way the market is now. It's, all these pie in the sky snake oil salesmen that say that, oh, you can do this and you can do that and you can file this provisional and that. Don't listen to them. You go to a patent prosecutor. If you want to win, you go to a patent prosecutor attorney that knows you, that builds a relationship that you feel comfortable with, that's there. They're going to be your partner. They are going to be when you're ready to cry, they're going to be your shoulder. You have got to have a good prosecuting attorney that believes in what you're doing and how you're doing it. And you've got to listen to them. If you don't, it's not going to work.
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love the way, Doug, you explain all this stuff, especially, the way you were sitting in the conference, you got up, asked the question, told people that you are an inventor, you need litigation funding, and there were people sitting out there to help you. So I think unless we ask for help, nobody provides that help. So that is also an important factor. And coming to IP, as you said, getting a patent grant is comparatively easier. But when it comes to litigation, oh my God, it's a tough job.
It is. People ask, would you do it again? That is a very, in today's environment, I feel for the inventor. We are with all the things that's going on. I'm with some inventor groups that we do have discussions. There's legislation in the United States. Thomas Massey has a bill that is really, really important to the future of innovation. I've actually wrote things on I call it a little blog on it's under me, but I would really recommend people to read those types of things. It's scary. It's very scary. And it's just not, there are other places in the world that, you can file an injunction and stop things and such. But as an inventor, I've learned so much. I mean, like I said, experience has been my best education. Well, with patents, that's it. Yeah. There is absolutely no way that I would have known this unless I went through this particular format and how it actually the world is. For an inventor, all I can say is it's a long process. I haven't made a penny yet on my invention. Mm-hmm. I haven't, no license agreements. When I say, it's a long road. Then you've got things like PTAB in the United States that validates 80. I think they said 84% of everything that comes in front of them. You got 101 challenges, which in the beginning is something that everybody goes through. You're going to go through a 101 to make sure your patent is good. Again, that's why you need a great prosecuting. That patent prosecutor, guys, is you better. You're a perfect example. I know that's what you do, and what I'm saying is
yeah. So I was just about to make a comment on 101. 101 is something which our patent professor used to say. It moves like a pendulum. One at one point of time it will become pro patent, and at one of point of time it will become against patent and moves like a pendulum. So it the like if it is in the state of pro patents, you are lucky.
Yeah, it is. And that's the first thing that you've got to do is get your one-on-one valid. I mean, and a patent prosecutor knows that if they don't and they write them weak, you're going to lose, and all your investments, all your investors, and all your money and everything that you've invented, unless you've done a product and that product is strong, which is what we've done. We've backed our patents with products, but unless you are prepared, you don't do it. That's the thing. You just, as an inventor, you just, trade secrets. They say, well, you can do trade secrets. That don't work. I don't care what nobody says. You have the trade secret. Some work. Coca-Cola still has their formula locked up. They say, but there's a lot of people that say we've got it. How it is. And then you got a certain other companies that have their trade secrets. Kentucky Fried Chicken has their chicken, sauces secured. I don't think so, because there's other brands of chicken that taste just like Kentucky Fried Chickens here in America. So, you've got things that you can do, but, in today's environment, I just say, I'm not discouraging you not to do it. I'm not at a point where I'm telling inventors don't do it. What I'm saying is exactly what I've said on this podcast. Is if you do it, you better do it right.
Yes, absolutely. If you do it, you should do it right.
People that are invented 20 years ago are now getting patents invalidated through the PTAB. I feel so horrible for those people. They put everything they got, and then it just gets thrown out the door. And because of not judges or anybody, it's just people that are being picked out of a crowd and saying, okay, you're a judge. That's not fair to the inventors. But that's the system that we're dealing with at this particular point. And that is why if a patent prosecuting attorney now is not writing these things to withstand PTAB, and they know that, shame on the patent attorney, because it's doing the inventor an injustice if they're not doing their job, being very strict, very thorough, very non-template. I don't care what anybody says. You do not, and you knew I was fixing to jump on this. Do not do a template patent. I don't care who says it's great. You cannot create something and just move it as a template patent. You'll lose every time. So these people that says, oh, all you got to do is change the words. A patent prosecuting attorney knows that does not work. If they use that system, fire them. You can't template a patent.
Yeah, absolutely. So here I would like to say, see, the most important element of a patent application are the claims. And claims are some things which cannot be written by any software. No software can apply a mind to write the claims, because it is up to us. It is about humans. They'll discuss what are the important elements of the claims and they'll put that into claims. And based on those claims, the applications are drafted. So that is the process, which I currently do not think there is any technology which has taken over, which can produce claims for us. No, absolutely not. That is not there.
Like I said, a pharma guy can't not do technology. You've got to know what happened. This is what I did with my patent prosecutor. We sat and I whiteboarded it. We literally whiteboarded it all the way around our building. Literally took hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of him understanding what my invention was. A patent prosecutor has to know your vision. You have to be able to present that vision in a proper manner in order for him or her to understand what they have to do. If you are not as an inventor, if you're not capable of doing that explanation, you've got to get that right. You've got to wireframe it. Somehow you've got to get someone to help you do that. I know you want to keep it in your mindset, but a patent prosecutor can only do what you explain to them. So you've got to have, an inventor has got to have the ability to explain his vision in a clear format so that a patent prosecutor can write those claims based on his beginning, middle, and end result. Absolutely. If she sees that, he sees that, then you're going to win in court cases and such. But if you do not have that lined up, it's not going to work. You've got to be able to work with your patent prosecutor, and you've got to be able to spend hours. If you only spend a few minutes with a patent prosecutor, they write a patent, you're in trouble. you say, no, get out of there. It took me a year and a half. My patent prosecutor was like, just ready to, Doug, we're not finishing this until I'm finished. Okay. And he understood that mindset. And that's what made our patents what they call golden patents. Yeah. Me as the inventor and him work together to make this happen. This is a partnership. It's a partnership. And when you get a patent prosecutor and an inventor together, it is a partnership. Absolutely. And it's like anything else. It's a marriage. You literally, it's a marriage. Yeah, and absolutely. You have to, because it's never ending. Okay. It's never ending. I've been since 2014 with mine, and we've gotten in some knockdown drag-outs, but we love each other to death. That's the way it works. Yeah. And it's value is in the relationship. So
Doug, now we'll come to our rapid fire round. Answer these questions very, very quickly. These questions are about you, and quick answers, because let's make it rapid and full of fire. Okay. So 3 things that you're grateful for.
I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my investors and team, and I'm grateful for my health.
Awesome. 2 traits that you think are useful for a career as an inventor.
Patience, determination.
Wow, awesome. And 1 aspiration you have for the future.
To win patent litigation cases.
Wow, I know there are pending patent litigation cases, and I wish you all the luck. If you need any support, we are here to help you. And any final thoughts for our audience before we conclude this podcast?
Yeah, I want to be leave with the inventors and even patent attorneys that are listening to this. Again, inventors are the creators of a lot of things in this world. If you look around, everything that was created pretty much was done by an inventor. It's really critical that we support the inventor world. Inventors are very, very are some of the poorest people in the world, and we need to find a way in order to help them bring those ideas, no matter what the financial situation is of those IP folks. They are all in need of support, and they have some really, really good ideas, I'm sure. So support the inventor. All of this that's going on is about the inventor. Yeah. The legal system issues, sometimes they forget that the inventor is the reason for this, so keep the inventor as the priority in this world. Innovation is the backbone of the economy. It's in the free market world, it's something that we all should aspire to protect. It's inventors, to me, are endangered species, and we need to protect them with everything we have.
Wow. Thank you so much for the kind words. I hope people get to hear this and they're able to help the inventors and grow the economy, have a world full of innovation and full of happiness and joy. Thank you so much, Doug, for your time and your willingness to share.
Thank you, and may God bless all.
Hey there, thank you for attending today's session. If you enjoyed today's session, do follow our channel and consider sharing it with a friend. My name is Priggya Arora, daughter of inspiring parents, alumna of IIT Kharagpur, engineer turned lawyer and entrepreneur, and now founder of PA Legal, where we help creators and innovators protect their intellectual property. Thank you.